Cleopatra, Queen of Egypt. For nearly 3 decades, Cleopatra VII co-ruled ancient Egypt. She belonged to a line of Macedonian kings established by Ptolemy, a general who fought alongside Alexander the Great in Egypt in 332 BC. Cleopatra was an intelligent woman who could speak several languages. She had 3 co-regencies and was the dominating leader in each. She gained a lasting reputation in history and popular myth due to her relationships and military alliances with the Roman generals Julius Caesar and Marc Antony, as well as her alleged exotic beauty and seduction abilities. Early life and ascension to throne. It is challenging to piece together Cleopatra's biography with great certainty because there are no contemporaneous accounts of her life. Her life's knowledge is largely derived from the writings of Greek and Roman academics, particularly Plutarch. Cleopatra was a descendant of Ptolemaic, one of Alexander the Great's generals and the start of the Ptolemaic line in Egypt. She was born around 70 or 69 BC. Her mother was said to be the king's wife, Cleopatra v. Tryphena. Following Alet's ostensibly natural death in 51 BC, the Egyptian kingdom was assumed by Cleopatra, age 18, and Ptolemy 13. Her 10-year-old brother. Ptolemy's advisors took action against Cleopatra soon after the siblings took the kingdom, forcing her to depart Egypt for Syria in 49 BC, in order to fight her brother's armies in a civil war at Pelusium. On Egypt's eastern frontier, she gathered an army of hired assassins and returned the following year. Pompey's opponent, Julius Caesar, was welcomed to Alexandria by Ptolemy 13 after he had permitted the death of Pompey, the Roman general. Cleopatra supposedly snuck into the royal palace to make her case to Caesar in order to get his backing for her cause. Caesar and Cleopatra, for his side. Caesar needed money to finance his ascent to power in Rome and required Egypt to pay all its debts. Caesar's outnumbered forces and those of Ptolemy 13 fought for 4 months before Roman reinforcements showed up. Ptolemy was forced to abandon Alexandria and was thought to have perished in the Nile River. When Caesar arrived in Alexandria as an unpopular conqueror, he gave the thrones back to Cleopatra and her younger brother Ptolemy XIV. Cleopatra gave birth to Ptolemy Caesar in 47 BC, while Caesar and Cleopatra were still living in Egypt. The Egyptians called him Caesarion, or Little Caesar, and they thought he was Caesar's child. Cleopatra visited Caesar in Rome around 46-45 BC, while on a trip with Ptolemy XIV, Caesarion, and other dignitaries. Cleopatra returned to Egypt after Caesar's assassination in March 44 BC. Ptolemy XIV was assassinated shortly after, and the 3-year-old Caesarion was named co-regent with his mother as Ptolemy XV. By this time, Cleopatra had strongly identified herself with the goddess Isis, the sister wife of Osiris. Cleopatra III had also claimed to be associated with Isis, and Cleopatra VII was referred to as the new Isis, in keeping with the ancient Egyptian tradition of linking royalty with divinity in order to enhance the authority of kings and queens. According to Plutarch, she was known for her irresistible attractiveness and could speak up to a dozen languages. Seduction of Marc Antony. Cleopatra's hold on power in Egypt was firmer than ever, with her young son serving as co-regent. Still, irregular Nile flooding caused harvests to fail, which in turn caused inflation and starvation. A second triumvirate comprising Caesar's allies, Marc Antony, Octavian, and Lepidus, and his killers, Brutus and Cassius, were engaged in combat in Rome at the same time. Both parties requested Egyptian assistance, and after some procrastination, Cleopatra delivered the triumvirate 4 Roman legions that Caesar had already stationed in Egypt. After defeating Brutus and Cassius' armies in the Philippi Wars in 42 BC, Marc Antony and Octavian divided control in Rome. Cleopatra was shortly summoned by Marc Antony to Tarsus, a Sicilian city in southern modern Turkey, to explain her part in the complex events that followed Caesar's killing. Cleopatra traveled to Tarsus in an elegant ship while clad in the robes of Isis, according to the narrative related by Plutarch. Her allure enticed Antony, who identified with the Greek deity Dionysus, in exchange for support in getting rid of her younger sister and rival Arsinoe, who was at the time in exile. He vowed to defend Egypt and Cleopatra's throne. After Cleopatra left for Egypt, Antony soon followed, leaving Fulvia, his third wife, and their kids in Rome. During the winter of 41-40 BC, he was, in 40 BC, after Antony's return to Rome, Cleopatra gave birth to twins, Alexander Helios and Cleopatra Selene. During this time, he and Cleopatra famously founded a drinking club called the Inimitable Livers. Power struggle. After Fulvia fell ill and passed away, Antony was compelled to demonstrate his loyalty to Octavian by getting married diplomatically to Octavia, Octavian's half-sister. Under Cleopatra's leadership, Egypt became increasingly rich, and in 37 BC, Antony met with Cleopatra once more to collect funding for his protracted military war against the kingdom of Parthia. He consented to give back a huge chunk of Egypt's eastern empire in exchange, which included Cyprus, Crete, Cyrenaica, Jericho, as well as significant amounts of Syria and Lebanon. In 36 BC, they rekindled their romance, and Cleopatra gave birth to Ptolemy Philadelphos, their second child. Following an embarrassing loss in Parthia, Antony openly rejected his wife Octavia's attempts to reunite with him and instead traveled back to Egypt and Cleopatra. This sparked a propaganda battle between him and the enraged Octavian, who said Antony would flee Rome and establish a new city in Egypt since he was completely under Cleopatra's influence. Late in the year 32 BC, Octavian waged war on Cleopatra and the Roman Senate stripped Antony of all his titles, defeat and death. In the Battle of Actium on September 2, 31 BC, Octavian's armies decisively defeated those of Antony and Cleopatra. As Cleopatra's ships abandoned the battle and sailed for Egypt, Antony was able to quickly break free and pursue her with a small fleet of ships. When Octavian's armies were attacking Alexandria, Antony heard a report that Cleopatra had committed suicide. Just as word got out that the report had been untrue, he fell on his sword and passed away. After burying Antony and greeting the victorious Octavian on August 12, 30 BC, Cleopatra locked herself in her room with 2 of her female slaves. Although the exact cause of her death is unknown, Plutarch and other authors supported the belief that she killed herself at the age of 39 by using the asp, a deadly serpent that is a representation of heavenly royalty. Cleopatra's body was interred with Antony's at her request, allowing Octavian to commemorate his conquest of Egypt and the consolidation of his authority in Rome.